Welcome to the Dance Studio Empire podcast business series. This podcast is about building your studio empire, whatever that is for you, whether you're just getting started or striving to hit the elusive $1 million mark. This business series will give you the confidence and know-how you need to transform your studio and give you the business you've always wanted. So sit back and get ready to build your dance studio empire. All right, welcome to the Dance Studio Empire podcast. And today I have a very special guest who is joining us. And so I would like to introduce you to Rebecca Liu-Brennan, who you may know her name, or if you don't know her personally, because she's been around a fair bit on social media, her with her partner, Amanda Barr. Business partner. And and so we're so excited to have you on today. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm so pumped to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, it's so good. So I thought for those who may not have heard of you or know your backstory, would you mind starting with where your career started, how long ago, and where it's brought you to today?
Yeah, for sure. So I predominantly trained in ballet, became an RAD ballet teacher, taught in some schools, did that whole journey. I actually worked for Block and some retail stores as well, and then moved in and bought my own school. When I bought it, I think it had about 60 kids in the school. I've had it for 18 years now. We've got about 600 families at the school, so it's pretty big. We've had about 50 kids go on to professional careers in the industry. So we're a pretty high-end school. So that's that. And then I've got a billion other businesses. So, essentially, so I have Dance Principles United, Tribe, and Studio Growth Club, which is just helping studio owners have the studio of their dreams, which Amanda and I started together. I have Dance Circ, where I on-sell my circus program to studios all over the world. So we've got 6 countries that we're in now, about 200 studios with our program in it. And we just started Dance Teacher Expo, which is going to be at the ICC on the 15th and 16th of April. So my life's a little bit crazy, but, I love it. I love doing all the things.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I mean, I've got a billion questions about all that, which we'll get back to. But also on top of that, you have 5 children. So you are trying to balance life and work and, starting these new ventures.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you manage that balance between the family and the work?
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw a Mark Boros chat the other day. I actually saw him live. He was super amazing. And he said, there's no work-life balance. The more that you want to earn or succeed in work, the more that your family is going to suffer, which can be true. And I always just think of my life as having seasons. So, there's seasons when I am insanely busy and maybe my family suffers. And then there's seasons where I'm going to really prioritize my family and, then my work will suffer. So I'm not going to lie and say there's not always something that suffers. There 100% is always something that suffers. What I do try to do though is just be in the moment for myself every single day without fail. So every single morning I get up at 5:30, I go for a walk and I go to the gym. That is non-negotiable for me. And try and be in the moment with my family, even if it is us, watching TV together or having dinner together for half an hour, if that's all that we can do on that particular day. Those 2 moments are non-negotiables. And I think that's what you have to do really in life if you want to try and balance everything. But there's times when my life's, I'm working late hours on a Sunday, I'll be honest.
Yeah, totally. And I agree. Like, it's not really a balance. It's a blend, really, right? And
right.
I talk about it. I personally just love working. Like, I love working, and so sometimes that means spending more time working than with the family. My family are all totally fine and independent and growing up beautifully. But I just enjoy working, and I don't feel guilt. And I talk about studio owners not feeling guilty for whatever their choice is. Do you ever feel that or see that in other studio owners as well?
Oh, totally. And I feel it myself. Like I will feel guilty if I'm not at the studio. I'll feel guilty if I'm not doing Dance Teacher Expo stuff, or I'll feel guilty towards my family. Like you do constantly feel that pull. And I think you've just got to remind your own self, well, I did do that with my family last week, or I did do that with the studio yesterday. So the studio has to cope today on its own and it'll be okay. And so I think you've just got to continually reassure yourself that you're doing the best you can do. And that's the thing with studio owners. They are the hardest workers I know, and they're all out there doing the best they can do. And, it's not beating yourself up about that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think keeping an eye on that bigger picture as well. So, going to work is supporting your family. So ultimately you can have that beautiful holiday, drive that nice car and not feel guilty about that, because they're helping out. It's just part of the growth. So yeah, totally. Well, I love that. Thank you. Have you noticed in the studio different challenges that have come up now, which maybe hadn't in the past? I mean, you've been in for 18 years now, so you would have seen the changes come and go. What are some of the biggest things you've noticed, and what are some ways that you're managing it?
Oh gosh, I'm going to get so controversial now. I think the biggest things that I'm noticing that I'm probably opposed to is the massive influx in sexualization of children on stage, and dancing to the wrong type of songs. And it's something that I really fight in my own studio. And it's hard to fight it because, these kids are on Instagram, they're doing all the things, and my kids at the studio are seeing that. So it's constant education of my family and kids of why we're not about that. And constant education about age appropriate costumes and themes. I'm just so passionate about that. I just think, I don't understand why the industry's continually pushing in that way, but it's, that's probably my biggest one, I would say. I don't know. There's a lot of people who obviously don't agree with my opinion on that, but I just think it's super, super important.
Yeah, I totally agree. You would have a better exposure to that than me, because I'm not part of the competition circuit or the professional circuit. We're a general studio. And I always have been. So although I've been 30 years, quite insular to a lot of that, but there was always something from day one that it was just something that I did. And it's only been the last couple of years where it's become quite, it's terrible, and I'm starting to see it now. I guess with social media, we see it a lot more. But yeah, that's really great. And are there others like you who are trying to fight it?
Look, I think there's a lot more awareness about it. I think there's a lot bigger companies and people who are becoming aware of it. And I think that's really exciting to see in our industry. And I like that there's talk about it now, and there's, talk about, just thinking about that. So I think that's probably the biggest one for me. Another thing that I think I'm finding is that a lot of studio owners now, thanks to, people like myself, yourself, all of the leaders out there, are actually starting to run their studio as businesses now. And that's exciting, right? Like I just think it's exciting to see that side of things flipping as well. They're training their staff, they're putting systems in place, and I think that is something that's really great for our industry too. I don't know if you've noticed that change, but I feel like there's a lot more of us doing that now.
Definitely, 100%. And I mean, I started doing this maybe 7 or 8 years ago because I wanted something like this and there was nothing out there. But now there's so many options, which I think is really great, because, I believe in like the evolution of it, and, continually innovating, and, to have resources out there. So, for studio owners to have people like you, and I know my friend Claire, she does something similar in Queensland. And I think it's really great, because I'm speaking to you now, like having options for us to have different mentors and coaches how wide does your world open when you start engaging with someone, a coach and a mentor. So I think we value the power of that and what it can help with achieving. And so hopefully that's what, we're giving to studio owners.
Totally. And what an exciting time for our industry. There is so much online offer for us to be able to show our brand, show what we do. There's, you know, I know social media can be a curse, but wow, like really it's such a blessing as well, because our brand can be seen, it can be enjoyed, it can be advertised. There's so many great ways to communicate with people. I mean, you know, we're doing podcasts on Zoom. We never probably would have thought this would have happened even 10 years ago, you know, but we're connecting so much more with people. And that's just a great opportunity for studio owners to connect with their community, with their people.
Yeah, yeah. And I think another benefit too is, you might not agree, but you know, couple of years ago, several years ago, there was almost like a competition between studio owners, and there wasn't that working together and networking. And I I'm hoping that as we sort of grow together as an industry, you know, people see two coaches working together, and so studio owners can start to see that and just don't see each other as competition, but see each other as support and the community. And everyone thrives when that happens. You know, if you can just get past that competition, I think it's really, really beneficial. Do you agree with that?
Oh, so much so. So one of my best friends, Kerry Richardson from Excite, which is an exceptional studio, is literally a 2-minute walk from my studio to her studio. Her studio is huge, very successful. You know, my studio is huge, very successful, but we work together often in the community. The thing that I always say to studio owners is there's enough kids to go around. You don't need to worry about, you know, that studio competing with you, because there's that many kids that it's unnecessary. And when you actually work together with people like Kerry and I do, you actually build your businesses more. You know, we've done fundraising events. Last year, we did a fundraising event for the community kitchen and raised money for our homeless kitchen in Penrith. Our 2 schools were the 2 schools who did it, and we worked together on it. Like, working together like that in your local community is amazing for studio owners. And everyone has something just a little bit different that they offer. You know, and just find out what your special thing is and just go with it. And it'll be special to lots of people in your community, and it'll be not special to lots of people, and they'll want something else. And that's okay too. You're not going to be for everyone, but you're definitely going to be for someone.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I always say we're a sure thing, because people are always going to have babies. So we're pretty lucky as an industry. Yeah, it's awesome. All right. Well, I'd love you to talk through some of the other things that you do. So I often talk with our community about finding different revenue streams to introduce into your business, because we talk about that elusive $1 million business that I'd love them all to be running, and how important revenue streams are. So it can't just be about class fees, you know, coming through the door. And you've got some great ones. And so I'd love you to tell everyone about them. Maybe do you want to start with your Dance Circ program that you offer?
Yeah, sure. Look, with Dance Circ, that was just honestly a fluke that I started that business. So I literally have done circus in my school pretty much since it started. And I'm not a circus teacher, and I never have been. I just got circus people in, built really great relationships with them. Absolutely loved it in my school. My kids came through and upskilled and learnt how to do circus and did, you know, all the things overseas with circus. And so it was just always a great extra thing that we had. And when COVID hit, I had a lot more time for myself, as I feel like a lot of business owners did. And so I'd walk every day around our river, and I was walking with a friend, and I said, I've always wanted to, like, you know, help these studio owners out with extra revenue streams in their business. And I want to do this, and I just don't know what to do. And she's like, why don't you just do circus? That's like something that's different in your school. And I was like, okay. So that was literally it, Jen. So then I thought, okay, so I, you know, put it all together and developed it, a course that we'd done for 18 years. So it's not like we hadn't worked hard at it. And then just put it out there and saw if people wanted it, and it kind of exploded. So it really was just a total fluke. But I think having those extra programs or extra things in your studio, or I always try and bring something new in every year, or every couple of years into my school, just to give it a bit of a point of difference. So this year, for example, in the school, we're doing a musical. So I've just purchased the rights to Susie-Cool. We have a huge, singing drama component. And this year I was like, let's do something totally different and do an actual musical. So, you know, I think just putting those little extra things that kids are going to get excited about is super important into your business.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. And in 6 countries. That's very impressive. Well done.
Yeah. Look, again, that was really just a fluke because I found people in countries, they came onto a webinar and I was like, do you want to be an affiliate for my program? And they're like, yeah, I'd love to. And then they just started selling it in their country. Like, I feel like with business, and Mark, Boris talked about this, but I think, you've just got to be willing to consistently change. And if you can consistently change what you're doing and try new things, and a lot of the time they don't work. I started so many businesses before Dancer because I always knew I wanted this extra business, but I didn't know what it was going to be. That my staff actually started to really laugh at me and they'd be like, oh, what new business are we starting this week, Beck? And, I had so many different ideas and things. And I think there's just people in the world who are disruptors who are like, I need to do this thing, and I found it eventually, obviously, but I think you just have to adapt and change and go, okay, I'm going to try this now and that may not work, and okay, that's not going to work and I'll try this, and it's pretty much how it went down.
I love it and can relate. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, so Dance Principles United. Now, this is probably a brand that people are seeing at the moment. Well, it's certainly flooding my socials, which it's fabulous. And so I know the backstory, but could you tell everyone where the concept came and how Dance Principles United actually started?
Yeah, totally. Another hilarious story, I think, but anyway. So what actually happened was when COVID hit, I was on the forefront of Zoom and knowing that COVID was happening because, my partner knew from his work that it was all going to be happening and was really educated in it. And so I'd already taught my team how to do Zoom and all the things before it was even, thought about in Australia. And so I was on a call with Ready, Set, Dance, and all of these studio owners were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. We don't know how to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I kind of know what to do. I'm going to start a page. I'll call it Dance Principles United. I'll do some tutorials on there for you guys. Come onto the page and, we can help each other out. That's literally how it started. Then Amanda Barr, my business partner, and I had been very, very good friends. We'd been in lots of business groups ourselves together. And she and I just started getting on there and uplifting studio owners because we could see the devastation that was happening. And so we just did lives on there and, we got Marco on and all different people on to chat about different ways that we could do things and helped them essentially. And through doing that, we decided to run a 1-day workshop in January after COVID just to help them get some stuff, people through the doors. And decided to start Tribe on that day. And that's literally how we started Tribe, which is our closed group. And then this year we started a thing called Studio Growth Club, which is just a more high-end group. And we give them all the things. So, they have focuses each month and we give them all their templates, their email, their Facebook ads, everything. It's kind of like a franchise without all the bad bits of the franchise. So it's your brand in a franchise. So that's just keeping on developing. And that's what I mean with developing business. I think, it was like, here's an opportunity. Let's give it a go. Cool. It worked. Let's try this. Let's try that. Obviously a lot of hours and hard work go into that, but it's just adapting to the times. And people think I'm crazy that I started 2 new businesses in COVID, but they've turned out to be huge successes. So there you go.
Fantastic. I love it. And I have conversations with a lot of people who are involved in that and they love the support and they really rave about it. So well done to you and Amanda. You're disrupting. I love it. And I think, sorry, go.
I was just going to say, I think we're just passionate about helping studio owners. I was the worst studio owner possible when I started out. And I did all the things wrong. I really did. I worked myself into the ground. I made zero money. I was a terrible leader. I was the worst studio owner you can imagine. And business groups like what we have, Jen, really helped transform me to what I am today. And that's why I'm passionate about helping other studio owners. I don't want to see them in that dark place that I know you've seen these studio owners in as well, where they're just working their guts out, downtrodden, passionate about what they do, passionate about the kids. I've always been passionate about the kids, but just need those simple business tools to get them there. And that's why I love groups like ours, because it's like, here's the tools, guys. Here's what you didn't learn. We know you can really inspire kids and teach great dancing and do all those things. Now we're going to help you on the business side of things, because most of them, like me, had no idea on that.
Yeah. And I love it. But isn't the best part when we were learning, there was no social media to expose us. It was just all, yeah, all behind the scenes, crying in the pillow.
Totally.
Love it. Okay, well, let's move on to Dance Teacher Expo. Now, this is super exciting. This is really a first for Australia, I think, unless there's something else going on that I'm not aware of. But it appears to be something, it's a new initiative that you're bringing to Australia, you and Amanda. I think it's fantastic, and I would love for you to tell everyone about Dance Teacher Expo, maybe what teachers and studio owners can expect, what's on offer, all the details.
Yeah, right. So look, I went to Vegas last year in August for Dance Circ and went to a thing called Dance Teacher Web. And what I loved about it was studio owners and teachers only, no kids. And so they brought their teams to it. They were all doing different classes, upskilling, classes like how to work with kids with disabilities better, how to deal with mental health in your students, how to deal with mental health in your teachers, all those sorts of things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. We need this in Australia. So I came back to Amanda and said, we have to do this. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. And then she said, nah, let's do it. Amanda and I just go for it. And I think that's another thing in business. Sometimes you just have to go for it. And so we went for it and, got the ICC, and look, it's absolutely exploded, Jen. I cannot begin to tell you. So I think when we started, we were like, oh, we'll just get 2 rooms in the ICC and a quarter of the floor. That's what we hired, right? And then now it's like we've got 4 rooms. We've got an entire floor of the ICC. We've got nearly 50 vendors, which is insane. And some huge brands, Block's coming, Hamilton's is coming across from America. We've got like all the Ready Set Dance and, all the things, progressing ballet technique, like it's just going to be amazing. So the idea is there's 2 business rooms and 2 movement rooms, and you can choose which you go to. And so there's different seminars. So you might want to do a class with Marco Panzic, or you might listen to Abby Bradbury talk about how she grew her empire, or you might go to Will Centurion and listen to mental health stuff, or, you might do a hip hop class with Samson Smith from Justice Crew. So it's kind of getting to do whatever you want to do, be it a teacher or a studio owner. And then we have the vendor room as well, where everyone can go through, learn about the different brands, see the costumes in person. Can I just say, when I went to Vegas and saw the costumes in person, I was like, that is actually so different to what it looks like online or in the catalog. So that's huge. We're having a big fashion show. It's going to be so epic. There's a lot of work at the moment. Amanda and I are working back to back. We just helped with an expo in Queensland just to get our heads around everything. But yeah, we're super pumped. Pumped.
Look, yeah. And I was, coming from my side, logistically, I can't even begin to imagine the things that you have to organize. So yeah, it's really, really admirable. Well done. And you've got a fabulous lineup. I've seen the list of your speakers, and you've just announced your keynote speaker. Would you like to announce that here as well?
Yeah. So, On Point is a new dance company that has, sponsored Lee Swan Singh, which is Mao's Last Dancer. I don't know if you've read the book or seen the movie, but I'm like obsessed. And, he's actually going to be speaking to everyone in a big room. And it's going to be so inspiring. People have told me how inspiring he is to hear. I've never heard him live, but I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Well, I mean, if you're not convinced to go now, surely this has crossed you over the line. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to let our listeners know about, or anything?
Yeah, look, I'd like to say with these things, I know sometimes as a studio owner, it can be intimidating to go to something like this. And I know when I first went to my very first business seminar, I was petrified. And even today, I still get scared to go to new things. Like I was scared to go to Vegas, and, make connections and do all the things. And I think if you just take that step and do it, you're going to, you never know, you might meet your friend for life like I did with Amanda Barr. You might actually find something that really just clicks with you and absolutely changes the way that you run your business. There's heaps of business seminars, or there's just so much that's going to be there for you guys to really enjoy, and just try and step out of your comfort zone and go for it, because I know it'll be totally worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I've bought tickets for my team. They don't even know yet. But yeah,
Oh, that's so exciting.
we'll be heading down there, and my girlfriend from Queensland, she's bringing her team down. So, we're going to, make a thing of it. So it's really exciting. Can you just give us the details of where people can purchase tickets? I will also leave those details in the show notes, but just if they're listening in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So it's just danceteacherexpo.com.au. Early bird finishes tomorrow. So, that'll be up pretty soon. But yeah, it's going to be super awesome. We'd love to have as many people there as possible. We are starting to run out of tickets. So just going to put that out there. There's a limit on how many we can put in there. So make sure you get your tickets quick. I know a lot of studio owners are like, oh, I'll just get them, in March or April, like towards the end when it's close by, but we have a feeling that it's going to be sold out by then, which is an exciting problem to have, right?
Oh, love it. That's so good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's been great chatting with you. It's always lovely seeing your face. And I will see you in a couple of months as well. Super exciting. Thank you again. And we'll chat soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey studio owner, if you are ready to have classes so full you need a waitlist, an incredible team who are exceptional with your dancers, or simply generate more revenue for your studio, then I want to invite you to join Dance Business Academy. Now, whether you are just getting started or striving to hit the elusive $1 million mark, Dance Business Academy will give you the confidence and know-how you need to transform your studio and build your dance studio empire. Just send me an email to info@danceteachercentral.com and I'll send you through the details.